Namaskar. Welcome to this session of Straight Drive. I'm Sudhanshu Mani. This is our monthly program when we invite Anand Vardhan to have a discussion on current issues. So, we will be talking about three burning issues today, and I'll start about this news you would have read and heard about is renaming of the cricket stadium, Motera cricket stadium in Ahmedabad. I am reminded of a very small incident I remember when I was still in service. In Integral Coach Factory, Chennai, we had built a AstroTurf hockey stadium, and we wanted to name it after a reputed hockey player because it was a hockey stadium. And then we discovered that Mohammad Shahid from Varanasi, who was, in my opinion, one of the top 5 players ever, did not really have anything named after him in the entire country. So although we were down south, we took permission from the railway board and named the stadium after Mohammad Shahid. And his wife had come, and it was very moving because it was a true tribute to a great sportsman. Now, in our country, we have large infrastructure projects, airports, railway stations, expressways. They can be named after politicians, statesmen, and so on. Renaming, not naming, renaming a stadium after our current Prime Minister, I don't think it enhances his prestige at all. I mean, it looks out of place. What do you think about this?
I will, to be honest, I take it not only enhances, I will say his prestige will get a beating. Because we have seen one of our chief ministers here in UP. She was in the habit of putting her own statues and she used to say that because of her mentor, it was the desire of his mentor that her statue should be along with her mentor, and that is why all this happened. And people may like it, but no one likes the putting up of a statue of a living person. That is besides the point. I am of a very firm and very clear opinion that any sports complex must be dedicated or named in the name of some sports personality.
Yes.
I understand if you don't have a cricketer, name it for a hockey player, name it for a football player, name it for a athletic board, name it for a kho player, anyone. But it has to be per se, a stadium has to be. Now I will also make out a difference. Lucknow, there is a K.D. Singh Babu Stadium. Delhi, we have a Dhyan Chand Stadium. Now these are all government stadiums.
Yes.
People will say, we have a stadium in Bombay, the new stadium, which is called D.Y. Patil. Yeah. Now, it was made by D.Y. Patil from his own money. Now, it was not a state money. It is not a state stadium. Now, here you are making a stadium by the government money. You name that stadium for a different man. I mean, I don't want to go into all those controversies. And now you are renaming for a person who is still living and who has nothing to do with sports. Nothing to do with sports. I can even say if the stadium was named as Jai Shah Stadium, at least Jai Shah is a part of BCCI. But Modi ji is, why it is an Narendra Modi Stadium, I fail to understand. Number one. Number two, any stadium of that size, it is said that about 800 crores have been spent for this. Now there has to be, we put money anywhere, and there has to be a economics of the whole project. Now making a stadium in Motera, in my opinion, has no meaning, because you make out a stadium of this size, which is supposed to be the largest in the world. People say. So are people going to watch the? I mean, people will go to Motera for this only. In my opinion, it has to be somewhere near Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, or any bigger metropolitan, maybe 100 kilometers from there. Why I am telling is because today you make out an international airport, and we have seen this experiment has been done in UP. Sifai has an international stadium.
Yeah.
Sifai has an international airport. What has happened? because someone was there at helm of affairs. He has a fancy that my village or my constituency should have an international sport, so I will have an international sport. What was the great thing about Sifai? And the model, as far as this money is concerned, we must follow the Haryana model. Haryana spent that money, produced athletes, produced wrestlers, produced all these things, but making a man-made thing, making a monument like a thing for a stadium, how it is going to help the Indian sports? I don't understand how it is going to. At least, if you have not done anything, name it. I still feel that Prime Minister should have a large heart. Name it against by the name of any sports person of your liking.
Right.
You don't like any sports person in India, make it for any international sport. But per se, it has to be in the name of a sports person. That should be any sports.
That's what I thought. You see, as you said, naming a stadium is a symbolic gesture, but if it is going to encourage people to take to sports, it has to be a sportsman. And as you said, just building a stadium and naming it is not going to help. The complete ecosystem of encouraging sports has to be built, and that is more important. Well, another news, Disha Ravi's release order by the Sessions Court. It's a very scathing order, I would say. And reading it, people like me also tend to ask as to if the case was so weak, why was it pursued in this manner at all? I mean, there is nobody who's going to sympathize with Khalistan movement at all. And if there is a solid ground, definitely take all actions. But why go after somebody whose links with Khalistan are practically non-existent as it comes out? And then why have mud on your face by going through these 5-7 days custody? How does it help? So I have not been able to understand this Disha Ravi business.
The episode, I will say. I will not even call it. It is an episode. To my mind, as you rightly said, there was no need of this. But the message government wanted to government or whosoever was there at the helm of affairs or whosoever was taking the decision, was to send a message to people who are protesting that mind your way. That was the first and foremost thing. We also have to understand the Disha Ravi case. I will just take it 2003, if I am not wrong. Supreme Court has given an order by which education on environment is mandatory in all these schools. Now, that is why you might see in last 15-20 years, children in my house, your house, anywhere, they come out with this firecracker free Diwali and no, all these things they talk of environment. Disha Ravi is of the same generation. So, kids of this generation are more aware than what we were. We were not taught, maybe by our own sanskar, which we call, we might be aware of some environment. What happened in this? I will say it has there has a scientific term I am forgetting. It has a reverse effect. They wanted to calm down the voices of protest. Somehow, Disha Ravi has become an international figure today. Hey. Somehow, what she says will carry much more weight what she was telling 2 months back before her arrest. Number one. It is something like Rakesh Tikait. At times, the nature takes its own course. Rakesh Tikait was a leader who was always, people have doubt on his leadership, whether he can shift to that side or not. But his weeping on that day, his crying on that particular night, changed the whole scenario. He is the torchbearer, he is the face, he is the poster boy of the Kisan Andolan. Same way, Disha Ravi has become internationally acclaimed. Now, this is in my opinion, this is one thing. The second thing we must admire that judge, because when the higher judiciary is failing at times, which we feel, people are not taking actions on these. This additional session judge, in the hierarchy, he's still growing. He has a lot of things to that Dhirendra Rana or someone whosoever has the courage of giving this order. Because this is for certain that if the present system continues for next 5-10 years, which they say that they will continue till 2040 at least, the fate of this judge is sealed. No, he is not going to be promoted in the same manner. It is for sure. I will also like to tell certain things on the order. I have the entire order because on Saturday he completed the hearing, and then this just said that I have reserved the order and I will come back on Tuesday to give. A lot of my colleagues, a lot of my people said why he is taking 2 days. Now when the order has come, then it is absolutely
clear why
he has taken. It is an 18-page order. In the first 8 to 10 pages, he has given the argument of pros and cons, both the sides, what they are telling the prosecution and the defense counsel. And then he comes out with section 124 and 153A. What this section means. You will be surprised, this section 153A IPC. I'm reading from the order itself. Because that will make you understand a lot of things. Promoting enmity between different groups on ground of religion, race, place of birth, residence, language, etc. and doing acts prejudicial to maintenance of harmony, whoever. And then he says A, and this is and it is the bare act I'm talking. Whoever, A, by words either spoken or written, or by sign or by visual. Now what I'm trying to say is, when I am from UP, you are from UP. When we go to Bombay, we were called Bhaiya, and still we are called Bhaiya. People from Bihar are called Biharis. People from down south, a particular area, called Maddus. Now this amounts to 153A if you go by this definition.
Place of birth.
So you can be put behind bars. Now what I'm trying to say is, don't overdo certain things. Now the judge also, he has divided the order into 3: engagement with secessionist forces, and where is very clear. One of the prosecution has said that Disha had communication with 2 of her friends, Nikita and Shantanu, attended a Zoom meeting where two people of PFJ, PJF, Poetic Justice Foundation, naming Dhaliwal and Anita Lal, attended along with 70 more people. Now, out of those 70 people, 2 people have some links with
Khalistan.
which they. No, it is again said. The judge is very clear, because that is the way it is being put up. Learned Additional Solicitor General fairly admitted that PJF, judge is writing in his order, PJF is not a banned organization. And even no criminal action is pending against the above said Mo Dhaliwal and Anita Lal. Okay. Now, the general impression, the general narrative has been said that Dhaliwal and Anita Lal are secessionists.
Yeah.
There is no criminal case against them. It is something which is being told by the Additional Solicitor General of India. Right. So, what I'm trying to say is this all is witch hunting. Then use of toolkit. Toolkit is again something which you, me, everyone. It is standard operating procedure, which we call SOP. And in this they have a different nomenclature, they call it toolkit. And the judge also writes in his judgment, he gives the entire toolkit, and then he says, the judge says, I find absolutely nothing objectionable in the said page. The judge is telling. Now, then he says, conduct of the applicant and accused. The judge says, in my considered opinion, creation of a WhatsApp group or being editor of an innocuous toolkit is not an offense. Now, he also says, it was said that Shantanu Muluk, a friend of Disha, attended the protest march on 26 January in Delhi. The judge has said, further, it is rightly pointed out by defense counsel that the protest march was duly permitted by the Delhi police. Therefore, there is nothing wrong in accused Shantanu reaching Delhi. Now, and the most important thing, and with this I will conclude, the most important thing the judge has already said here, he has also quoted Rig Veda and things like that, that everything should come from everywhere, and knowledge is something which should not be bound by boundaries and things like that. He has given Rig Veda shlokas. But the most important thing, in my opinion, is on page 27, point number 27. Judge says, I am conscious of the fact that it is very difficult to collect evidence for the offense of conspiracy. But I am equally conscious of the fact that what is difficult to prove for the prosecution in the affirmative is virtually impossible for the defense to prove in the negative.
Right.
Now, if you put me a charge on me, it sticks with me. That is what judge is telling.
Yeah.
Now, giving such an order, in my opinion, was very brave on the part of this judge, and he must have been moved by. You heard that story of Prem Chandra, where the punch, when he sits on the chair of a judge, he gives an order which is very fair to his opponent. Same way I feel when the judge was sitting on the chair, he at least he has taken the dignity of that chair, and he has given a very fair order.
Definitely, in these times, for a judge, in a simple case of bail plea, to give a judgment which I'm sure would be treated as a landmark judgment is remarkable. And then I come to my last question, and that is also raging on the social media and news so strongly, and that is the price of petroleum products. To the extent that there are so many jokes about price of petrol going to rupees 100, and it's a matter of fact that in border districts like Gorakhpur and near about area, people are actually going to Nepal, getting their vehicles filled up and coming back to India. Well, that's kind of ridiculous for a country like India. Now, after the decontrol of prices of petrol and later diesel in the current regime, I understand about slightly higher percentage of taxes by central government and sizable taxes by state government are such that they have become a major source of revenue, and neither the state government nor the central government would like it to let go, especially in this period when tax collection had fallen and it's now picking up. But the situation is that irrespective of the crude price, our petroleum prices always keep rising. Today it has reached that pinnacle, should I say, to reach rupees 100. So, but the blame is strongly going to the central government. So what do you think? It's both the governments who are responsible, or the central government is more responsible for not controlling the price of petroleum, which may look like that it is only for vehicle, but the whole economy gets affected by petrol and diesel prices.
I will take this question into three segments. I will answer into three segments. The first price, as you rightly said, that people are talking that the prices have gone up very high. Our finance minister has said that nothing is in our hand; it is decontrolled, and now the oil producing companies or the oil marketing companies have to decide what price they are going to sell it. For purpose of understanding, 2008 petrol was decontrolled by UPA government, and 2014 diesel was decontrolled by the NDA government. So both the governments decontrol the price. Now, anywhere in the world, decontrol means that the market forces will decide what will be the price of a product. Like steel, steel, when we decontrol the price, then the market forces decided the price for that matter anything. Now here, when 2008 when it was decontrolled and 2014 when it was decontrolled, petrol was the crude was at peak. I don't remember, but it was
above $100
per barrel, something like that. Recent times, it has come to a minus level as well. I'm not going into those details. But what is happening in India, that we kept the selling price as the price which, as a common man, I have to pay. Now, even if the oil companies were getting it at 80 rupees, suppose they were getting at 20 rupees and selling at 40 rupees, government taking 20 rupees, even if the prices came to 5 rupees, the government, instead of passing out that 15 rupees, kept their portion as 35. They increased it to 35.
Taxes.
So the government is basically controlling the price, and it is wrong on the part of finance minister to say that there is nothing in our hand. Now, this is one part of it. The second part of it is you must understand the pricing. We are just taking a Delhi because it is more or less everyone follows that same route with 2-3% here and there. Delhi, we have about to be exact, 27.90 paisa, 27 rupees 90 paisa as the excise duty, which goes to the
Central government.
The VAT which goes to the state government is about 25 rupees. So 28 rupees to the central government, 25 rupees to the state government, and 3.5 rupees to the dealer with his commission. And then it is being sold at around 19.95. I mean, I am talking of the petrol. Diesel is more or less the same thing. We have the same price as far as the diesel is concerned. Now, in this 28 rupees which the center is taking now, initially there was only one basic excise duty. Now there are three excise duty: basic excise duty, additional excise duty, and special excise duty.
Okay.
Now, additional and special excise duty is kept entirely by the central government. It is not shared. Only the basic excise duty is shared by the central government, and that too in past 7 years, the central government has reduced the portion of share to be given to the state government and increased their own share on the basic prices.
Right.
This is one. Secondly, when we have cess, we have too many of cess on road and things like that, which we collect through this. Cess is taken completely by the state government. Nothing is given to the state government. Now, in this 28 rupees, after giving that share, 28 rupees is left with the central government. State government takes 25 rupees. I also feel that today there is an outstanding of more than 6 lakh crore which state government must get from the central government as GST share, which the central government is not giving. So they are also in a position that they also want to run their state, and they also want to earn something out of this petrol crisis. Now, this is second part of it, and that is why GST, they are not taking petroleum products into GST. This is the only reason. Because if it comes to GST, the entire pricing will be a different. The second part is the central government, the way it is being priced. The third, and that which is more important, is in 2014 when this NDA government came, our total import of petroleum product was about 83%.
Yeah.
It was 80 before, it increased to 83% in 2014. Today it is more than 88%. So in 7 years time we have come from 83 to 88. Whereas when in 83, after that, when the new Prime Minister came in 2014, Modi ji on different platform has said that our target is to reduce the import component from 83 at least by 10%. That was the target. We have gone the other way around. Now this is and not only this, the second part is more interesting of this. In 2014, our total petroleum consumption was about 158 million metric ton.
Yeah.
This figures I am giving you from the statistical.com or something like that. And it peaked in 2018-19. It was 206 million metric ton in 2018-19. This Corona times, this year, we are 160 million metric ton. More or less what we were doing in 2014. But the sad part is our import component still remains 88%. Now, ideally, you have been into manufacturing. If my production overall, my consumption has reduced, my internal production should have been more, and the import component should have been less. The reason being, ONGC is not having money, is not spending on explorations. They were spending 12,000 crores about 2 years back. Now they are spending just 6,000 crores. One of the reasons which we can understand is they don't have money. And they don't have money, they have to bail out HPCL, because when there was a disinvestment of HPCL, the government said, you please buy it out, and they are left, all the reserve and surpluses of thing has gone, they don't have money. So this is some situation where one must understand that people say, no, we are Atmanirbhar. We are not Atmanirbhar. We are from 83, we have gone to 88. We have not increased our production. And that is something which I still feel that government must take up. and selling petrol at this price is very high.
Yeah, so this is very important what you said.
Which lead to inflation and things
Inflation,
like that.
yes.
I'm not talking of those things.
And as the consumption of petroleum product picks up, which it will, this 88% then may cross the mark of 90% because if the domestic production is going down, so that should ring more alarm bells. Thank you, Anand, for clarifying these issues for our viewers. We will meet again next week in Straight Drive Panorama. Namaskar.
Namaskar.